Are you going to sit with me? Are you going to say good morning, Lucas? Are you? That's a nice boy. Is it cold out? I know. Mother Nature's playing an April Fool's on us. This is February weather, not April. Oopsie. Say good morning and then you can go. Hi everybody. Zen Ren, it's Abby. Good morning. Abby and Lucas. Say good morning. Well, it's been a couple of interesting days, hasn't it? Hurry, go get your stretchy pants and a coffee. I'll wait here. You go ahead. I'm not even going to worry how long this video is because you've got nowhere to go and neither do I. And I don't care where you're watching. Unless, of course, you're in the Mars rover, in which case I don't think they're on lockdown. So you're safe. But if you're on Earth, you should be at home. So run along. We'll wait. Right, Lucas? We'll wait. Mommy will get a cup of coffee for quick seconds. Good, you're back. Hooray! Okay, Sweetie Pete, you gotta go. Oh. How are you? Wowzers. I tell ya, I had a couple of tough days, and I am used to this. But what little social interaction I did have, I am really missing. And I can imagine you busy folks, this must be life altering. So stay strong. Look for the positives. You might find there's a few activities you can cull from the herd and not have to pick up again after this. Has there been a dress club group that you've been trying to figure out how to get away from these women? Whew. Thank you, coronavirus. Anyways, I'm trying to buy some stock in funeral stuff because I think that's where the action's going if we don't smarten the hell up. Start social distancing, folks. We're quite lucky here in Canada with our socialized medicine that everybody seems to think is Satan's work. The good news is when you have socialized medicine, everybody gets treated the same. 99.9% of the time, you'll get just as good a care as your famous neighbor. So we've been testing and isolating, and I gotta send out kudos to all our public health servants that in Canada. My God, I'm so proud of you guys. I tried to make a couple of videos last week and I got so choked up thinking about the work you're doing. I worked in healthcare for years, so I know the plan. The plan's been there for a long time and they're rolling it out, and what a wonderful job. So, and I'm sure it's just not here in Alberta. I'm sure all around the world, there's heroes, everyday heroes. So think of your neighbor who's an everyday hero. Maybe say thank you. Maybe that's what this is all about. Actually, that brings me to a good topic here. I was wondering, what could I talk about? You know, I like to tune into some of my YouTubers and just hear them natter. Just a voice in the background. Every now and then they'll say something really interesting. So I think we'll have a bit of a conversation. I have some new cards that came, I had ordered long ago, and they finally got here on a slow boat from China. And they're intriguing. So I have a question, and I think you guys will enjoy how we sort it out. And if those of you who have an interest in the cards, this is an interesting deck. It's not a traditional tarot deck. In fact, it's not even a tarot deck. And then there's these things called oracle cards. It's not an oracle card either. So stay tuned. Doo-doo-doo-doo. Luke, you're not going outside. Can you hear him moaning again at the door? Miga's right here at my feet, and Sunny is in bed. April Fools has been nasty here in Alberta. We have a high today of minus 12 Celsius. Minus 12. That's cold. Especially in April. We should be wearing rubber boots, not winter boots, and be outside. Anyways, cheers. Welcome. Today I'm wearing red. Mostly because I just needed to pick a color and put some color on and actually, groom. Red also is the base color. It's the root. It's where we all came from. You can think of it as the heat. You can think of it as blood, as a life force. My mom's favorite color. Oh, right there. My mom's favorite color. So today, red is in my heart because I want to get back to basics. I want to get back to feeling like my old self again and realize that we can oversaturate. So I want to just kind of have a nice morning here with you that is not full of drum rolls and this non-stop ticker of body count rolling up on the screen. So take a breath with me. Oh, let's start dropping that stuff. Just so mums can have a little break, and in case I say some bad adult words, I want to say hi to my younger crew that I know is out there. Hi Brooklyn. Hi Lola. Hi Charlotte. Hi Emmy B. All right, I have a place for you guys to go. It's a little website or a YouTube channel called I Am Puma. It's a Russian couple. They have saved these two big cats and I love them. Sometimes when you go down in the comments, people have very graciously done the transcription and type it out in English for you. It's fascinating. They're young, they're hip, they're happening. Check it out. It will warm your heart. They have brought tears to my eyes with just happiness a couple of times. That's the kind of people they are. If we knew how many wonderful people were in the world, we would rest easier. And these two are a fine example. They speak no English, about 3 words. Thank you very much. And they're just as cute as can be. So bye guys. Thanks for stopping. All right, mothers, grab your coffee. Fathers, grab your coffee. Non-parental people, get whatever you like. If you're not having to be in charge of something or somebody today, do not be put off by the fact it's very early. It might be just the day to have a little sip of Bailey's in that there coffee. Why not? If they're going to make us have a staycation, why don't we treat it like a staycation? So, let me think. Where are we in our scheme of things? Well, Chad and Stacy. Chad and Lori, I mean. They're just so Chad and Stacy, aren't they? Anyway, so here's what I think's happening now. Is she was close to breaking? If she was close to telling us where those kids are, no longer. Because this pandemic, in her mind, is fulfilling she's just checked off another box on Armageddon. In her mind, another horseman of the apocalypse just rode up and left his horse tied to the rail outside the saloon. This is proving to her that she is right. The world is coming to an end. She's not going to give up where those kids are now. They're part of the grand scheme. They are the chosen. I need another breath. Oh, and maybe a slurp of coffee. I haven't had any cannabis yet, so I can't really give you any choices. I do have some on order though. It's called Dank Sinatra. It might be here today. Comes in the mail, don't you know? And I'll have to give you an update on that because that's a brand new hawk. Very bold feather. I love feathers. Feathers to me are, well, how I started thinking of them was who has feathers? Birds and angels. So that's how I always think of a feather. It's a message either from a bird friend or an angel. So these new cards I got are, I think they're called the Dreams of Gaia. They're a bigger deck and they have a bigger major. They don't even use the same terminology. They're a very loosey-goosey deck, highly interpretive, because they don't have the traditional book or whatever, which is okay for me because after I sort of got you have to learn the cards like the times tables. You just have to know that 2 times 2 is 4 and the 6 of cups is a blast from the past. You just have to kind of get that. And then what happens is once you can kind of grasp onto the general meaning of the card, that's when you start your interpretation and melding it into the rest of the reading. So these will be excellent for me because, like I said, I'm a rule bender. I'm not a rule breaker, I'm a rule bender. I'm the one that goes out and stands at the end of her driveway. Oh, what do we got? The 8 of Cups. Wow. You can see they're really beautiful cards and very modern. He's got the chakras running up his chest. They're very new age. 8 of Cups. 8 of Cups. Oh, here comes my nose. I did take an allergy pill too. 8 of Cups is the baby steps of, say, a healer or someone who's having a bit of a spiritual journey. It talks about getting your sort of physical world in order, you know, getting your bills paid and securing what you need to exist on the physical world, and then taking some time to take a spiritual journey. In the Rider-Waite, it shows the cups are lined up in a very orderly fashion, and you see the guy in the distance as he's walked away. So it's almost like you've literally had to take a pause from all the things you care about and walk away from them for a while. But the beauty of the 8 of Cups is that it becomes a journey, a quest. There's knowledge to be gained and maturity. Wow. Okay. So that's what I want to talk about today. I'd like to talk about, come here, Luke. What a wiener. I would like to talk about what's the lesson here? Where's the silver lining in this? And these cards will be excellent because they're very big picture. They're very, what's the grand lesson? What is the silver lining? What could we glean out of this? Yuki, come here, honey. I'm not going to let you out. It's too cold, and I'll just have to let you back in. I know. Who knew? April 1st. Mother Nature, this is the last foolish prank I want you to play. Because I'm getting tired of these jokes. The pandemic was not funny. And now -12 on April the 1st. It's bordering on cruel. Ugh. And the weirdest part is, this would be my life normally. But now that I can't go anywhere, it seems I have a list of places I need to be immediately. It's, wow, what do they call that? Murphy's Law. No, you can't go outside, sweetie. I know, you want to go patrol, but he runs the perimeter. It's his job to make sure every corner of our yard is safe. I should have called him Scout. Lucas is the name of the young man in Mexico that saved him. He's passed away now. He was murdered. Crazy. It's crazy the things that come into my life. Anyways, sorry, I keep drifting into the modeling, don't I? So, everybody's struggling. You're not alone. We're all trying to put the happy face on. All right, I guess we're ready. Come down. Let's steal these cards and we'll see how this goes. I have no idea what I'm doing. But that's the fun of this, right? If you wanted to see professionals, you could pay money. Instead, you got the cheap free seats. But you know what? Sometimes that's where all the fun is. So I'm going to use my regular spread just because I'm comfortable with it. And we'll see how these cards, what all they're going to tell us. Right there, I want that one. The 9 of Pentacles, which is a beautiful card. It talks of fruits of labor. You can see this lady, if you're into the metta, you can see your third eye is well and truly open. And she has enough abundance, she can share. She's offering. She can share. Oh, that's a great card for a what's it all about Alfie reading. All right, in no particular order, I'm gonna lay some cards. I'll have to look at them and think a little bit. This won't be as quick for me to read because new images and new designations. They don't designate usually as pentacles and wands. They call it earth and fire and such. So what's on the bottom? The 10 of Wands. Again, look at the chakra. There's our red, our base color. 10 of Wands is somebody who's been given a burden, but he can carry it. He can handle it. It's a burden, but he can handle it. Ooh, we got lots of big cards in here. Holy Dinah. I think we're talking about the world, all right. Interesting. I'm going to pull a couple more cards. I'm not going to use my usual clarifiers. We'll just for fun. Oh, look at that. Interesting, hey? So I guess in a way this is like a little pandemic reading, but more I think I want to just sort of talk about this in terms of general mental health and what do we all need to learn from this? You ready? Come on up. See if I can do this without tipping everything over. Hello. How's that? Gotta clear my mind for a minute. Loki's sitting right there and he's giving me the stink eye. He's doing them. It's not working. All right. Oh, I gotta get comfortable here. Oh, so right in the middle, where are we right now? What's going on with us? So that's the 4 of coins. This is also the coins. 3 of coins. 3 of coins, 4 of coins. 8 of swords. And the crone. All right. Here we go. So the 4 of coins you can see this talks about somebody holding up his foundation in a way. It's somebody that's supporting. It's to me, the tag word for this card is foundation. Whether your foundation is your home or money, or it's that platform we build on. And if you build your foundation on sand, you know what happens. So this talks about our foundation is being tested. This isn't just gonna skim resources off the top. This is gonna actually create a big hole. Like, we are going down into the basement, into the foundation. So stay tuned. Usually when there's a disaster, in our case it's usually a forest fire, they rush all the equipment to the forest fire and away we go. They build this whole little city, and there's tents and kitchens and dining halls and helicopter pads. In the States and other places, there's hurricanes and tornadoes and things like that. And again, they jump in their trucks and they rush. Well, guess what? You don't need to rush, because we're all in the same pickle everywhere. Just not even in your neighborhood, like in Hong Kong and Milan, and there's nowhere to go. This is how hard this has been for me to get through my brain. I was puttering around and I was thinking, well, if I'm gonna be here being trapped, I should go somewhere. And then I thought, no, ding dong. But that's what I mean. We just have never been challenged like this. So this is one of those earthquakes that might crack our basement floor. He's holding. And it's gonna take money. And maybe the good news about this is, once we realize that what money is not the stuff that runs through your veins and keeps you alive. We've gotten to we're so fussed about money all the time. Who cares? Give your masks away. You will be rewarded. Trust me. If you're gouging, you will go down in flames. This is about group work. It could talk about dark money, and it also talks about everybody pulling together, just doing what they can, and we'll all get through. But there is a very strong connotation of this, of dark money, of that behind the doors, whatever. And I did hear about a nice Texas company gouging people, charging 6 times the going rate for masks. God bless you and your family. I'm sorry. And I hope, though, that I'm speaking for some of you that just are, I'm not even mad. It's just I'm so disappointed. This is a good card, too, just for exactly what I just said, the Eight of Swords. The Eight of Swords is the picture that flashes through my mind. It's almost a prison of our own making. What's the old expression? The only thing we need to fear is fear itself. That's very true right now. You can see there's kind of 2 ways to go. One, he's got the sword by the handle and he can cope. The other one is blade down, palm up, and it's drawing blood, it's painful. And that's the message we're getting right now too. It takes a little bit of effort to get that sword right way up, to get the curve going in the right direction. It takes some effort. And a lot of people see opportunity or don't think the rules apply to them. Well, they'll be the first sort of sacrifice. But the problem is it makes it painful for everybody. So there is that to work through. The crone, this is a new card. The crone, I had to study this card. What I found fascinating about her is she looks dark, doesn't she? She sort of looks like a black witch. But a crone in medieval times was the old wise woman, much like the wise old man, right? It wasn't as detrimental, she's an old crone. It wasn't like that. Crone was just the female version of a wise old man. Of course, she's in black, which is my favorite color. But look at the bottom. Do you see how her dress, she actually has roots. She is a fountain of knowledge. This is her telling us, again, it's the roots. It's the roots you've put down that's going to keep this tree upright. It's, again, this foundation is about to be tested. And some people are greedy and they're going to stall it for everybody. But right now there's only two, it could be worse. Could be a argy-bargy. But right now people are making the decision between stay home or don't stay home. It literally is a binary thought. So, and once you get it down to right or wrong, people usually instinctively choose right. So that's good news that the world has been kind of told, and we're slowly getting in line. What's inside? Again with the money. This is the 6 of coins. The 6 of coins is the money changing hands. It often talks about charity. There doesn't need to be work for the money to change hands. It could also be a bribe, quid pro quo. You scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. It's not your traditional, I mowed your lawn, you gave me 20 bucks. It's not usually that. In other words that have been attached to it is charity begins at home. Cycling the money from the hands that don't need it down around the bend to the folks that do need it. So deep down, if you thought about the core, the soul of us all, we realize that. People realize that they're going to need stuff and they're also going to have to give stuff. Right now, all we're giving is our social lives, basically. There may come a time when you have to pony up a couple of dollars or volunteer to help park in a parking lot, help with the traffic control or whatever. So people get it. People see that it is going to be a balancing act and everybody has to do a little bit. What's along with everybody? The hero. Look at that. I like these cards. Aren't they great? So the hero is the 7 of Wands. The 7 of Wands talks literally of valor. It also shows a guy that's above the fray. You can see there's 6 wands sort of at his feet, clamoring. And this guy is standing up and he has his wand. He's lifting himself up out of the crowd. He's becoming literally the hero. So there's gonna be a distinct hero here, and I think that hold on, here we go again. Nobody has been here in so long. It's the propane man has come to fill up my tank. I live out in the woods, so yeah, I have a little tank he has to come and fill. I guess it's been so long since they've heard any action out there. They think this is like time to celebrate. So in our soul, it's going to take everybody kind of giving and taking and giving and taking, and there will be a hero. But I suspect the universe is saying every one of us needs to step up and be a hero. Wow. Sorry, guys. Hi, I'm back. Well, let's cross our fingers that guy goes away soon, or I'm going to have to pause it again. The good news is I sparked it up while you were on break. Take a breath. If you're like me, you've been breathing from here up for the last week, and it's time we get back to pushing her down into your tummy tum-tum. Now don't worry, I'm going to put this all back together after I get through all the cards. I just sort of have to flip over the puzzle pieces. So we talked about the soul, the inside, our truest feelings. Now what does it look like if we were to go up, up, up and look down over the globe and sort of see what's the mindset, what's the struggling, what's the attitude? We have the Four of Swords. The Four of Swords talks of learning to pick your battles, retreating so that you can fight again another day. Sort of like you don't burn up all your fuel on the first day. Like if you only have one tank of gas and you drive till you run out of gas, you can't get home. So the idea is you drive till you're halfway out of gas and then you got enough gas to get home, right? So it talks about this ability to use those natural instincts, the hunter-gatherer, the provider type things that we do all the time, to see that right now we've got to keep our powder dry. We don't know what's coming. There's still four swords. We've got one sword here that we control, but there's four hanging out there, or three hanging out there, and we don't know what's coming. We have to wait. You can see he's got a clock, and that clock's where his heart is. And I think that's why this is so emotional, is we just have to wait. We're not used to waiting, are we? We're used to, like, I want an answer. I want to know. I don't want to wait in line. I want to drive through. And here it is. We have to hurry up and wait. Are we? Yes and no. So many people's intuition is their only source. If you know what I mean, they're listening to their gut. Well, that's great if you've given yourself current, accurate numbers, projections, and figures. But if you're only just sort of saying, I'm not worried, it's not happening around me, that's wrong. I think instinctually, the only way to sharpen your intuition is vigilance, is attention, is a constant source of information. That's what makes you intuitive. Because much like the tarot cards, we repeat cycles over and over, and that's why cards work. Someone asked me, how does this work? Here's how it works. We all basically live the same life. We just have our trials and tribulations at different times. Usually, right now, the whole world's having the same trial and tribulation. Wow, that's big. Think about it. Think about it in terms of, say, issue like climate change. What have we learned? We learned if you took the boats out of the Venice canals for like 2 weeks, you could see the bottom of them. There's fish in them, their canals. We learned that if you took big cities like Mumbai and Hong Kong and you stopped the traffic for 2 days, they saw blue skies. I think what it's going to teach the world is things like, if you allow this stuff, your intuition, your instinct will say, I knew we could do better. I think when people realize how filthy that sky was above their city and how quick they could turn it around, I think they'll be thrilled to figure out a way not to drive to work. This is there is so much silver lining, I think, here. So, be positive. Anyways, so while we're resting and holding back, just suspending ourselves, the energy over it is the intuition. There's nothing wrong with your intuition if it's been fed accurate information. I mean, how can you make an intelligent decision if you've not been told the truth? So that's all. Make sure you're watching international news. Watch the BBC. Fantastic, easy to understand. We have to think differently, folks. All right, I'm my my Hawaiian cookies is kicking in here. Woo 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 woo. Sorry. So we know where we're at right now. We sort of see above, we see below. What got us into this? Maybe this is a novel. It's funny, we have two female entities here. You have the maiden and the mother. The maiden becomes the mother, who then becomes the crone. So these are basically the cycle. As a female energy, you start as the maiden. Your cheeks are fat and plump and juicy and peaches and cream, and and then you become the mother. And you start to get a few gray hairs and a couple of sunspots and those wrinkles by your eyes. I'll call them laugh lines. That sounds so much more positive. So that's when you're the mother. You start to get some wear and tear, and then that wear and tear becomes life's lessons, and you start to see them. You can start to see problems as they turn into your cul-de-sac. When you're younger, they have to park in your driveway and honk before you'll address them. As you get older, you start to recognize these things coming from a distance, and that's when you have the wisdom of the crone. There's a lot of pluses to being a crone, I'm telling you. So I think that's part of this. This is just sort of, life is secular, and this is another cycle. So here we go. How did we get here? We've just aged. It's a cycle. We've come from the maiden. We're going into the mother. We're trying to transition into the crone. So what got us here? Life. Just the natural. This is not some evil curse or anything else. This 1918 Spanish flu. 102 years later, 2020, here we go again. It's like forest fires. They run in cycles. That's how Mother Nature does stuff. So, yep, I think that's what it is. This is a natural cycle that got us here. What might happen? What could we make happen, or what should we be on the awareness, like watching out for? Ace of Swords. Ace of Swords is my a new direction. I often think of it as coming down and going, and then you pivot. You can't step out. You can't get away. You're stuck in the ground, but you can pivot. That's about when you're stuck in a tight spot. Quit trying to move forward, backward, or side to side. Instead, take advantage of the only move you've got and pivot. It's quick. How do you pivot? It's a mind change set. It's literally put it down. Quit worrying about it. Everybody's in the same boat. Start thinking how you can make this better for yourself, or if you have an opportunity for somebody else. But right now, it's your mental attitude. This card is also this card of truth. It talks about cutting to the truth, cutting through the bullshit. It's a tough card because it's not where you gently pull the Band-Aid off. This is the kind of change in direction that's like you're like, oh, it's the first time you get a bikini wax. You think you know how that's gonna feel. You have no idea that literally every hair follicle on your body will stand up. You'll get prickles everywhere because it's that root of an awakening. So here's what you need to pay attention to. You need to pivot. We need to pivot. What's going to make what is the pivot? Knowledge. We have to stop, like the crazy preacher guy in Florida, come to church, cut it out. Just stop. It's stupid, and you have screwed up somebody's life. Somebody is going to kill somebody they love with that disease they got at your church. This is what I mean. We're not talking about a parking ticket. And it isn't just people my age. And look at me. Do I look like I'm almost dead? No. So, cut it out, you guys who think because I'm 60 I'm too old. Don't take me to the euthanization camp yet. Anyways, knowledge. Pull your heads out of your asses, folks. If you haven't actually gone and educated yourself and you're only getting this from the evening news, cut it out. Go and watch some statistical stuff. It'll scare you at first, but then you'll know. You'll actually know. And once you know, then you can sort of say, okay, I see the problem. Instead of this, there's no problem. 15 people, there's no problem. It'll be over in 2 weeks, it'll be down to 0. And today you woke up and there's 188,000 cases. And they tell you, good news, if only 100,000 of you die, it'll show what a great job we're doing. I am worried sick for you people. Please get some education. Like, these cards are crazy, hey? What's going to happen whether you want it to or not? This is the Four of Wands, and on top of it is wisdom. Four of Wands is a mini celebration. I often think of it as like a family birthday party, you know, when somebody turns a benchmark age 21 or 60. Usually you do a barbecue, or maybe you rent a hall and you get some folks, and it's a little bit bigger than just the immediate family. It's a little bit more of a celebration, but it isn't full-blown 29 bridesmaids and renting the Hilton bar room. But this talks of a breather, a chance to celebrate. Maybe light at the end of the tunnel might be a good way to describe it too. It isn't we blast through into the sunset and everybody goes, ah, we won. No, but it's like, aha, it's been pitch black, but now I see. Look, we're at least going in the right direction, right? We're not out of the woods. We're not out of the woods. But we are going in the right direction, right? And people are going to learn a hard lesson. Wisdom is that knowledge that usually it comes in the school of hard knocks. We all know that parents can tell you don't text and drive, and some kids get it. Some kids understand that. But there are some folks, and some young folks especially, that have to learn every lesson the hard way. But boy, once they learn it, they get it. So I think we will, as a human race, acquire some wisdom. Interesting, the wise guy in this picture, he's not old. I don't know if I can make it clear. He's quite a young man. He has gray hair, but his features are not grizzled like they usually are. So this is sort of a newfound wisdom. This isn't sort of the wisdom of the ancients. This is something, well, it is. This is a new phenomenon, isn't it? So we're going to make our own ancient wisdom. And that's going to give us reason to celebrate. So let's just bring her all down into one cohesive sentence here. Right now, we're hanging on. We're hanging on, and there's some shenanigans going on. We need to pull together as a group. That's the only way out of this. And maybe what ends up happening is people are going to be told, if you don't do what you're told, you don't get services. I mean, if you're going to insist in going sitting with 1,000 people shoulder to shoulder for 2.5 hours in the middle of a worldwide pandemic, do you get a respirator when you come? Or does the guy who sat at home, who get, that becomes an issue, right? This is the thing. This is this 3 of coins. It talks of work together. It talks about dark money. It talks about we all need to be fair, but there's always this undercurrent of me first, me first, me first. I think that's what's going to shake this foundation. I think when people start showing their true colors, you'll be surprised. You'll be surprised at the heroes that are going to come out of this. You're going to be amazed that the people who have the least to offer are the first in line to give. And those with every resource going, they'll get on YouTube and sing a song. Do 15 minutes of comedy. Yeah. So, as a society, we're holding it up. It's hard work. This guy has no rest. For us working stiffs, there's no break. It's going to be tight money-wise. It has the potential to be a real cluster, you-know-what, money-wise. As a matter of fact, the 8 of Swords with that says, the drag of the people who are not cooperating ends up causing blood loss for everybody. It's sort of united we stand, divided we fall, and you can see literally one's up, one's down. We need to get everybody going in the up direction, right? Again, this 2 levels of people really feeling it's a real split, isn't it? This, yeah, even if it is, I'm healthy. Okie doke. What are we missing? What do we need? We need some of this old grandma wisdom. We need some of that back in the old days, because we need a little bit of that. We need to grow some character. We need to get a stiffer spine. We need to pitch in and do our part. And that's what the crone says. She's got roots. She is going to show us how to put the roots down so that you are not in the wind like a sapling. You've become the mighty oak, right? So this is it. It's going to be a shaky, scary, you're hanging on by a thread. It's going to take group work, and some characters better be developed. Everyday people are going to be the heroes in this. Everyday people. Perhaps you guys are going to be the heroes. Maybe I'll be reading about you in your community paper, how you invented this great idea, or, how you had the coffee and donut drive for the emergency room on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I don't know. But it's the 6 of coins goes in one hand and 6 of coins goes out the other hand. And by trying to hoard anything, for what? How does this get you any further ahead to have $300 worth of toilet paper in your basement, right? I laughed myself stupid when I found out that Costco said, nope, you're not bringing back your toilet paper, and you're not bringing back your hand sanitizer. Oh, and when I saw the guy who bought the $18,000 worth of hand sanitizer and was trying to sell it for $70 a bottle, yeah, now he's facing federal gouging charges. It was like, oh, and he's quite in a pickle. That was their last $18,000. He's got a house payment to make. He's got a garage full of this shit. What is he gonna do? Apparently he's gonna go on YouTube and plead for sympathy. Well, no. I might have to turn the comments off. I'm gonna make so many people angry. Don't care. How did we get here? I think this is called Mother Nature. I think Mother Nature does this stuff. I think that's the beauty of life. You can't predict the volcano, the tornado, the earthquake, and now the pandemic. We've just been really lucky, that's all. We have a whole generation, my generation, who's grown up with very little strife. And technically, this is very little strife. All right, you have to stay home in your warm, comfortable house and watch Netflix. I say it's a pretty small price to pay. Wow, this is going long. I hope you have lots of spare time. So we're just here. This is a natural phenomenon, opportunity to make some heroes, an opportunity to grow a spine, make your character, develop some character. What is our challenge? Knowledge. We need to cut through some bullshit. You need to find a way to make sure you're getting accurate information. That's all. That's all I'm saying is don't take one source. I don't even take one source. Because knowledge is what is going to cut through the bullshit. That's the other thing. If you went to a mechanic, I mean, he has to isolate the problem, right? You can't either, well, I mean, we could just say, yeah, well, okay, there's something wrong with your car, just go buy a new one. That's kind of the idea here is we can't go buy a new one this time. We have to fix this problem. So everybody has to be inconvenienced. Everybody has to take a step back, take a time out. And if you get all the facts, you'll feel pretty good about it. It is instinctual. It does make sense. Once you understand what the world is up against, you'll say, there's no problem me staying home. I totally get it. And no, I don't need to go running in the park. Because all it does is make somebody else think they can run in the park. And then somebody else thinks, well, they can bring their wife. I mean, they're in the same household. Well, then why can't I jog with my best friend? I know she doesn't have it. And before you know it, the park is full again. Because if one gets it, everybody gets it. That's how it works. What is going to happen? I think there is going to be reason for a celebration soon, like by the end of the month. I think people will sort of breathe a sigh of relief, sort of have looked the devil in the eye and said, I can weather this. So it's going to be reason to celebrate, but I don't think the doors are going to open to the pub and away we're going to go. And I also think we'll have learned something. Maybe this is a school of hard knocks lesson too. I think maybe some people are going to lose some things. And I think there's going to be some people in this world who have been literally hoodwinked. And as a result, we'll lose something. And I know it's difficult to live with shoulda, woulda, couldas. Don't put yourself in that situation. How's it all going to end? Well, it's going to be a stop and start process. And it really is this. This actually is a good pandemic card. Look at it. It really just is a case of stay home, ride this out, and we'll see the results. This is a stalemate. This is a pause. This is the basic good and evil, that's sort of just the energy, the movement of life, again, because this is around the world. This isn't isolated to any area. So this is us as a population, as a whole human race. This is us. It isn't any more complex than that. It's us against this little germ, and it's given us a run for the money. But what I see coming out of it, look at this, abundance. What a fantastic card. Think about what I said about how it will change the attitudes with the climate change. It's going to build little communities up again. Heroes are going to come be built out of this. Young men and women are going to have opportunities to forge some character and become, like the Marines, all that they could be. Sometimes young people never get an opportunity to shine. Well, they will now. Everybody has an opportunity to shine. I also think that if you have your roller skates on and are creative, this is a natural pivot in the whole world. The market is going to change. I'm telling you, when people stay home for a month and realize, wow, I didn't have heartburn for 3 weeks. I stopped grinding my teeth at night. Once things settle down again and we just get used to this, there is going to be a shift in how we live as a planet. People will start to go back to enjoying simpler things. And that's going to bring abundance, because that's going to change the marketplace. People are going to stop buying a bunch of crap to fill that empty spot in their heart. Instead, they're going to realize that, oh, all those simple things that used to fill us with joy, a good book that transports you to another place in time on a sunny spot in your porch, taking the time to do Legos with your kid and not feeling that I gotta make some quality time with this kid. I think it is. It's my intuition that says there isn't just a silver lining in this cloud. There's a platinum lining in this cloud. Unfortunately, not everybody wants to hear that yet. And it's going to be a struggle for those folks. But you guys, you got the head start because you were here with me. Anyways, the weed is really kicking in. I'm babbling like a nonsense machine, and you've had enough. So keep positive. Let's sort of support each other. And please, please, please don't take any weird pills. I don't know. You know. Come on. Anyways, let's see if I can turn this off today without a big panic. You guys all take care. And the dogs say, love ya.